So here at RepSpark, we've been trying to proactively reach out to a number of our brands, whether they're small brands, large brands, medium brands, to see what they're thinking about as far as counteracting some of the tariffs that we have seen coming out. Whether these tariffs are here to stay or whether they're gone tomorrow, there's still a couple things that you could be looking at to offset some of the tariffs that are going to affect your margins. The first is slimming down your line. You may want to look at not doing those fringe outliers in this next season. Make sure that you're focusing on those colors, those styles, those silhouettes that are really great sellers for you, even if they are a little more basic. We know it's fun to put yourself out there to try some of the new, different, again, silhouettes, colors, patterns, but you really want to make sure that you are slimming down the line and offering those that you know you're going to sell. Oftentimes, if you do some trial silhouettes, it is great for line extension. It is really great for branding and messaging and telling your brand story, but oftentimes those are the ones that may not sell as well. So if margins are already going to be cut, definitely focus on those styles, colors, silhouettes that are your tried and true. Another thing that brands have told us that they're looking at is e-commerce budgets. Over the past couple years, things are tightening with e-commerce as far as margins and pieces that you have to pay to other parties as you're using your e-commerce strategies such as Google and AdWords and all these different things. So we have a lot of brands that are looking at line by line budgets on their e-commerce and really trimming away to what really is working. So again, instead of trying new things in e-commerce marketing, really take a look at what has been advantageous for your brand and start to slim away some of those areas that haven't been. We've also heard some areas around returns. Some of our brands will offer free returns on e-commerce. So if a customer buys something online, the brand will offer free returns. Many of the brands that we are talking to are looking at that strategy and potentially pulling back on that, maybe charging $5 per return or something like that. Again, a really good way to counteract some of the margin hits that we're seeing. We also have heard from some brands that they're looking into add-ons like Afterpay and Klarma and things like that. They're really trying to focus and understand is if this is just a convenience for a buyer or if this is actually driving more sales. So really driving into that kind of Afterpay type strategy and looking at what, how that may affect your end consumer. Maybe take it off of your website for a couple weeks or a month and see if that actually affects your sales. Oftentimes those types, again, an Afterpay type add-on will take 5 to 10% of your margin. And if that margin's getting smaller and smaller with these tariffs, that's another place that you can look at. Again, dig in. It may be affecting your customers and it may just be something they're clicking because they can. We've also talked to some brands who were looking at new store rollouts where it's their own branded retail store. And we've talked to some brands who've halted that just a little bit. Wholesale is still great and a wholesale strategy, but pausing new store rollouts may be a good opportunity, as well as pausing other project initiatives. So a lot of brands that we've talked to have paused initiatives on anything that is not wholesale focused, anything that is not sales focused, and anything that is not cutting down on manual work. So if there are projects or initiatives on the marketing side, on new websites, on potentially new warehousing systems, things like that, we're talking to a lot of brands where they're not, again, eliminating it, but they're more putting a pause on it to really focus in on how to make them the #1 brand for the wholesale locations that they do have. And also we're talking to brands about what they can automate. So a lot of brands are really taking a hard look at their business. They're seeing where they can automate different functions. They're seeing where they can give self-service to people for different functions and where they can really eliminate repetitive tasks to focus on automation. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for brands that have put off those types of projects, really looking at technology to bolster sales, looking at technology to bolster customer service and support, and really taking the time and focus to look into those and the ROI that it will bring.